Welcome back to Toffee Booze, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm here to bring you the news headlines for the 10th of January. So let's get straight into it. Obviously, there's been a lot to unpack, certainly in the last 24 hours in the world of Everton. There's been a lot of news, a lot of potential headlines going on. So I'm going to unpack it for you now in a short video. And we'll start with the headline from Sky Sports News earlier this morning. And they've reported that David Moyes will join Everton with a contract of a minimum of 2 years. And he's actually expected to be in position at Everton over the weekend. And this has obviously been widely reported by other sources as well. The Bobble has confirmed that we are advancing in talks for David Moyes. This is an interesting one. Obviously, it's come off the back of Sean Dyche losing his job yesterday, just before the Peterborough game. And I think David Moyes' name was bandied around pretty much, instantly after Sean Dyche losing his job. I think that was, always going to be the most wide report. And obviously, today was where the meeting was meant to take place between Moyes and the Free King group. We'll start with your opinion. We asked you your opinion on our X poll of around 5,000 votes. 58% were in favour, 25% were unsure, and 17% were against David Moyes being named as Everton manager. I think I probably fall into the 58% category. I think what he would offer us. No, it's a little bit different to what Sean Dyche offered us. Obviously, Dyche was just purely defensive football, whereas Moyes, he can get the best out of the squad that we've got, in my opinion. Obviously, he knows us the best. He's got previous with us, and also if you're looking at the other candidates, for example, I think not many of those candidates can do a better job than Moyes, in my opinion. I still think he is a very good manager. So I think I'm excited to see this one. Hopefully we get this one over the line and fingers crossed we can just push ourselves up the table under David Moyes. But, all these years on, David Moyes is coming back to rescue us. It's something quite poetic about it, in my opinion. But, there has been other names banded around today about the potential Everton manager and obviously the vacancy that was created last night. And L'Equipe over in France, they've reported another name is in the mix, and it's Paulo Fonseca. However, that they have reported that the Portuguese manager could wait until the summer to take the Everton job. This one to me looks like maybe they're trying to create a rumor where this would be maybe a longer term appointment. So you look at David Moyes as like a firefighter, for example, and he has it for 6 months, and then Fonseca takes over in the summer. That could potentially be where this rumor's coming from. But again, I'm not so sure. Is it the right time for Fonseca to come in? I don't think so. I think Moyes would probably do a better job, and that's not discrediting Fonseca and any of the work that he's done. I just think Moyes is probably a little bit better suited to this job. But again, we asked you over on X on a poll about Paulo Fonseca potentially getting the job, and these votes were a little bit less in favour of Fonseca. Moyes was clearly a more popular candidate amongst the followers, and it was 44% in favour of Fonseca, 29% were unsure, and 27% were against him. Again, I'm probably a bit unsure on this one. I don't really know too much about him. I don't really know too much about the style of play. I think with Moyes, it's better the devil you know. I think he's done good work with West Ham in recent years, and maybe it was a little bit harsh to not be offered a contract in the summer at West Ham. But that being said, I do think Moyes is probably a little bit further down the line. But that doesn't discredit any of the rumours with Paulo Fonseca. I think if you are looking a bit further down the line and you want a longer term one, maybe here's a little bit of a better option than Moyes. But I do think in the immediate future, I do think Moyes is probably a better suited candidate for the current Everton squad that we've got, and what he will have at his disposal. But in other news, this is about Sean Dyche, and it's The Athletic. They've done a very good article this afternoon with Paddy Boyland and James Horncastle, and they sort of shedded some light on Dyche's tenure and him leaving and everything. And the biggest takeaway from that article really was, they reported that some players felt a little bit of a disconnect. They felt, a lack of guidance in training, and especially the attacking players. They reported that they felt isolated and who didn't really have much support in that system. And I think we saw it all season, didn't we? It doesn't take a genius to work out on the pitch if you're watching that game week in, week out. Players were so isolated up there. You look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for example. He looked frustrated by the end of the game. Every single time he lined up as a sole number 9, he looked so frustrated. And then I think even Armando Broja felt the effects of it against Bournemouth on Saturday, because in that system you are just so isolated up front, aren't you? But yeah, I think that's it, it's no surprise, I think, that this is all coming out now after he's left. That there was some discontent amongst the squad, and some players felt a lack of guidance from Sean Dyche and his coaching staff. And yeah, there's definitely no surprise there. But if you do get a chance, make sure you go over and check that article out on the Athletic. It's a really good read, and it sheds a little bit more light on Dyche's tenure and what he was like as a manager at Everton. But finally, we'll move to some incoming transfer news, and it comes from over in France. And Everton are keen on signing Ernest NUAMAH from Lyon, and that's reported by Fabrice Hawkins. This one is obviously a continuation of the saga in the summer. He obviously was between Everton and Fulham, potentially joining either of those two clubs. John Textor, obviously being the Lyon owner, was trying to force him out, obviously with everything going on down in Lyon with their financial predicament and all that kind of thing. I think he was trying to use Ernest NUAMAH as a way to make money for the club. And you know, a lot of people will know the Fulham story, where he was at his Fulham medical and went AWOL and didn't end up signing for them. So again, it's a bit of a weird one. It seems to be the trend with Kevin Thelwell. He seems to go back for targets quite a lot. You look at Wilfred Gnonto, that's been a saga that's gone on for 2-3 windows, and then you look at NUAMAH now as well, and then even Jaden Philogene. Obviously he is going to Ipswich, but we have tried for him on two separate occasions in two different windows. So it does show that Thelwell does once he has got a target, he likes to stick by it and try and sign them at all costs. But we asked you over on X on your opinion on Ernest NUAMAH, and 64% were in favour, 29% were unsure, and 7% were against. Obviously, I think he's a young winger. He's going to be raw. He's going to be quick, pacey. Is he going to have that final polished end product? Probably not just yet, but I think there will definitely be a player in there, especially if Kevin Thelwell is scouting him a lot and trying to get the deal over the line. I think there's definitely potential there, but you just have to wait and see on this one. But obviously, as Fabrice Hawkins did say, that a deal is looking more incredibly likely in this scenario, in this window. So let's just keep an eye on this one. And again, I'd be delighted to see him join the club, because it's a fast winger, fast direct winger that we desperately need. But that is all for today's headlines. Make sure you let me know in the comments about David Moyes, Paulo Fonseca, and what your opinions are on obviously Sean Dyche losing his job yesterday. And then also let me know your thoughts on Ernest NUAMAH and any other incomings that you want to see come to the club. But that is all from me today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.